DCKO, and in fact, another one of the DCKO All Fight Month fights, as this one sees the Flash, the Silver Age Jake Garrick version, against Green Lantern Guy Gardner. And ladies and gentlemen, these All Fight Month fights have been spectacular, and this one does not disappoint. I'm not gonna lie
Sí,
to you.
¿no? La que te están diciendo.
As a Flash
¿A poco
comic, I
entonces
thought this
Flash es
thing
más
was gonna
fuerte que
be all
Linterna Verde?
squeaky clean. But this
Sí,
thing
¿no?
is
Creo que sí.
brutal. This fight is a war, ladies and gentlemen.
Porque
And in case you missed
ay,
where
ya
we
no
left
es
off with
todo
the
el poder
Flash
de la
series, I'll go ahead and
linterna,
I'll post the link to that at
pero
the top of
Barry
the
sí
screen
se
so
da
you
la
can catch up with
Triforce,
that, as well as the rest of the DCKO playlist, because this one kind of crosses a couple of different sides of the story with the All Fight Month tournament fights, as well as the Wally West and Impulse Point storyline. So, ladies and
¿Cómo
gentlemen,
no metieron a
if you
Guy
guys are
Gardner
ready to find
en
out
Justice?
who wins this absolutely brutal battle between the Flash and the Green Lantern, and you want to find out what happens next with Impulse, because
Se me
last we
hace
know,
que no han hecho
the Legion of
Injustice 3,
Darkseid went
o al
back into
revés,
the
no, todavía
past
le
and
dan
might have taken away
mantenimiento
his
al Injustice
powers.
2
So
porque no
Wally
han
West was left
planeado el 3
to
todavía.
run and have to figure out how to save his young friend.
Es como el
So, ladies and
nerviosito,
gentlemen,
¿no?
if you're ready to find out how all of this comes to a head, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
So this issue kicks off with Wally West, who is the title character of this series. But it kicks off with him running through the Speed Force, holding Bart Allen, trying to save him. As he thinks to himself, my name is Wally West. I'm running through time again. I'm running out of time yet again. Bart Allen sped into a burning time stream infected with Omega energy in order to try and defeat Darkseid in our recent past. He did this, of course, without a second thought. Did I mention Bart goes by the name Impulse? Darkseid nearly killed us both, so we fled back. That's when the Legion of Darkseid almost punched our ticket with the help of a Max Mercury from the late 19th century. But with his mind poisoned and converted by Omega, I think. The actual Legion of superheroes are missing and or dead. All that's left is their evil mirror perversions hell-bent on killing the Speed Force and supplanting it with something called Omega Speed. Whatever this Legion's done now has robbed Bart of all his power. So here I am, racing back into the future, with him helpless in my arms, to a very specific moment. A moment that, if altered, will unite his grandfather. I had to carry him powerless through time itself. Even within the protection of my aura, he'll be disoriented. I have to make sure he doesn't go into shock. And he sits him down on a bench and tries to wake him up. Bart, come on, talk to me. But Bart's out of it right now. He's not waking up. And while he thinks to himself, I need to get him help. But from where? I've got exactly 15 minutes before the Legion of Darkseid destroys Barry's life and legacy. I know every detail of what happened on this night. I was obsessed with the Flash, long before I became the Flash. Speaking of which, why do I still have my powers if Bart's are gone? My destiny is as tied up with Barry's as Bart's is.
Berries.
If not by blood, surely through everything else. I've always in some way been in Barry's shadow. Without Barry, there's no me, right? Barry's the key to everything. Bart's life, my life. There's only one Flash who stands apart from this all. And right now, he's back in the present, fighting to the death against every other hero left in the Justice League. As we then switch over to that version of the Flash, Jay Garrick, and he thinks to himself, my name is Jay Garrick. I'm still the Flash, and I'm angry. And then we see his opponent for this evening, Guy Gardner, as he thinks to himself, my name is Guy Gardner. I'm a Green Lantern, the Green Lantern in my opinion, and I'm pretty pissed off. So before this fight kicks off, we see that this first arena is an old lab of Jay Garrick's. What he tells Guy Gardner is he also tells him that this is where I became what I am. This is the location that the Heart of Apocalypse is chosen for our first round. And right on cue, the Heart of Apocalypse comes in and narrates the fellas, tells them where we are. Jay Garrick, Guy Gardner. To advance, you will compete in a game of power. The champion must score 2 rounds out of 3. Choose your forms in later rounds to ensure victory. The only way forward is to fight. And now it's about to go down as these two heroes go face to face with each other. And Flash thinks to himself, Guy might be tough. As Guy Gardner thinks to himself, this has-been should be cake. And Guy Gardner starts off taunting the old speedster. Well, old timer, how you feeling about all of this? And Garrick responds, frankly exhausted. As Guy Gardner is thinking war after war, but Garrick is thinking crisis after crisis. And just as Guy Gardner gets ready to throw the opening blow, we see Jay Garrick thinking to himself. Because, he can move pretty quick, so he can get a lot of thinking he had done in that time. But he thinks that I've got decades on Guy, decades of fighting, decades of loss. I bet that's why the heart placed us here, at the beginning of it all, like it never happened, like I never mattered. It's trying to get under my skin. But here's the benefit of being a Flash. When you can run through 10,000 scenarios in a nanosecond, evil is easy to outwit. As we see that he tries to get Jay Garrick to hold on for a minute, he puts up the stop sign. He puts up the halt sign. He's like, Guy, wait. And now Guy Gardner is like, look, Jay, I haven't gotten all day here. And that's when Jay Garrick tries to do a little outsmarting of Guy, which isn't the hardest thing in the world to do. Let's just be honest. But Jay Garrick tells him, he says, the heart said a game. And Guy's like, yeah, so? Well, I know what's at stake, Jay Garrick tells him. But let's be smart about this. We have to play by the heart's rules, but we don't have to give it our souls. Here, me and the other research students used to play this when we were in a bind. Stuck. The guy's like, wait, checkers? And Jay says, yeah, checkers. And the guy's like, oh, you gotta be shit. There's no way the Heart of Apocalypse will let us do this. And Jay's like, well, I don't see it stopping us, do you? So they start playing checkers.
La primera
Obviously, Guy Gardner has no
batalla,
clue how
viejo.
to play. Because Jay's like, you can't move there. And then he tries another move. And Jay's like, you can't move there either. For God's sake, Guy, don't you know how to play checkers? And then Guy Gardner throws a little tantrum and knocks the checkerboard off the table.
KO.
So sue me if I don't know how to play your stupid old man game. But Jay's like, Gardner, show some respect for someone who's been at it since before you were born. Not every fight has to be to the death. And now Guy's like, what world are you living in? Haven't you been paying attention? You don't play Bumblebee Peg with gangsters. Bumblebee Peg? And bank robbers anymore. It's a hard universe out there. Don't you get it? Just do the world a favor and finally retire. You, Alan, the entire freaking Justice Society. Hell, if Wildcat had known when to call it quits, maybe he'd still be alive. And of course, that pisses Jay off. Retire, huh? And he takes off his metal cap and then he flings that guy, smacking him right in the face. He broke my nose. Grandpa broke my freaking nose. And now Jay starts running circles around him. Sorry if checkers is too slow for you. Why don't we speed things up?
¿Cómo?
But Guy was ready for this and he activates his ring. He's like,
Sí,
nah,
tengo un
how about we just
pedacito,
finish it? And he
ahorita.
manifests some kind of swirling blade or saw or something like that. And it chops Jay Garrick in half.
¿20?
KO. Jesus, that was a brutal
¿Pero
kill
qué
from
día
two
fue
Justice
exactamente?
Leaguers or Justice Society, all of the above. Like, what the hell? They just went there in
Pero
the
pues está
Flash
en el
comic.
refri.
Yes, I know, right?
El pan ese que está en la esquina
But then the
lleva
Heart of
más
Apocalypse
tiempo.
comes back in. Good,
El que está al lado del
good.
huevo.
Choose your next
Ese sí ya
moves
lleva un
and
rato.
prepare. And now Jay thinks to
Y no
himself,
se ve feo,
as
pero o
angry
sea,
as I am,
o no sé
I
si ya
can't
está
give in
feo,
to
pero
this. I need to
no tiene
remember
número como
what
Yo creo que
I'm
todavía
really
está bueno.
made of. Meanwhile, we see Guy Gardner is taking on another form, and he thinks to himself, I just got stronger. I can feel it. Good. I'm gonna kill this geezer. To hell with green. I'm going red. As he now turns into the Red Lantern with the red anger ring.
Aquí
Oh,
ve cómo
look,
ganó el
Guy
primer
Gardner
round.
says. The original
Ya le puse
JSA
pause.
headquarters. Maybe we can play some bridge this round. Or how about some... Good. Good.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué
Guy
pasó?
smacking him right in the face.
Es que
He broke my
vi
nose.
Flash, ¿no? En
Grandpa
un
broke my
segundo, ¿no?
freaking
Valió que
nose. And now Jay starts running circles around him. Sorry if checkers is too slow for you. Why don't we speed things up? But Guy was ready for this and he activates his ring. He's like, nah, how about we just finish it? And he manifests some kind of swirling blade or a saw or something like that, and it chops Jay Garrick in half.
He's not that smart.
KO.
KO
Jesus,
in a
that was a
second.
brutal kill from two Justice Leaguers or Justice Society, all of the above. Like, what the hell? They just went there in the Flash comic. Yes, I know, right? But then the Heart of Apocalypse comes back in. Good, good. Choose your next forms and prepare. And now Jay thinks to himself, as angry as I am, I can't give in to this. I need to remember what I'm really made of. Meanwhile, we see Guy Gardner has taken on another form, and he thinks to himself, I just got strong. I can feel it. Good. I'm gonna kill this geezer. To hell with green. I'm going red. As he now turns into the Red Lantern with the red
With
anger
green.
ray. Oh, look, Guy Gardner says. The original JSA headquarters. Maybe we can play some bridge this round. Or how about some shuffleboard? But Jay's like, careful. Storm's brewing. And Guy Gardner doesn't see him initially. He's like, where you at, old man? And Jay Garrick reveals it to him. I'm all around you, Guy, because I am the Speed Force. And then he starts to zap Guy Gardner from all around, out of sight. And then Jay Garrick thinks to himself, I hit him again and again. Even as I now feel the Speed Force in pain, suffering, dying. And Guy Gardner is getting irritated. He's getting zapped all over the place. And he even tries to put up a protective barrier, but it fails. As Speed Force Flash tells him, Red Rage isn't great at defense, Guy. And Jay continues to think, through the Speed Force, I can sense Wally's distress somewhere in the past. But I can't go to him now. I can't forfeit this fight. So instead, I strike that red ring with nearly a century of my own pent-up rage. I overload it, and I blow the little shit to atoms.
Told ya.
KO. This
That
time
was a
the
great
Flash
fucking
just
counter. He
explodes
countered.
Guy Gardner.
Oh, so you
I
killed
mean,
me. Pum.
every
Son 2 de
piece
3,
of
¿no?
him
Tras.
just
Y ahí va la buena,
red
¿no?
everywhere.
Sí, les dije que
Notice the
Flash
KO in
estaba
blood. Need
conteniendo.
I say more? I told y'all, this is brutal for a Flash comic. I did not see this coming. But as Jay starts to remanifest himself, he thinks to himself, air's full of emerald ash. Guy's still green in his soul, not red. He's a good man. Just a young soldier doing his duty like I used to be. I can feel the heart's dark strength surge in me, and it's frightening. I was a good man once. As the Heart of Apocalypse comes back in, prepare for the final round. Choose your forms wisely.
No mames, güey. Va a ser Flash
But before
contra
we get
Superman.
that
Al
final
chile el
round, we
último
switch
tiro
back
no
over
me
to
lo
our
puedo
regularly
imaginar,
scheduled
güey. No me lo
Watchtower
puedo
interlude.
imaginar.
Who threatens us now? Who attacks from the quantum
No
world?
mames.
Who are you?
Está bien
Rod says
loco,
to
bonito.
Darkseid, to Dark Gold as he's locked into this mental battle with him. I am no one. I am
Estaría
everything.
chido
Dark
que
Gold
también de
tells him.
repente
And
viéramos
Rod's like, whoever
unos
you are,
videos
you
de...
are no match for my mind.
Nada más de DC
Now,
KO.
face Gorilla Grodd.
Porque esa historia está bien loca.
And Dark
Es
Gold
como...
responds, no
Es como el
mortal,
torneo de
only
poder.
chaos. Time Trapper
Como el de
falls.
Dragon
The
Ball,
World
pero de
Forger falls.
DC.
Booster Gold falls. And Rod's like, you're wrong. I believe Booster remains. I will find him. I will pierce your mind. And I will find him. Hear me, Booster Gold. I will free you from... But Dark Gold responds back. And in fact, I think this is actually Booster Gold responding, showing Grodd what's to become. As he responds, no, you hear me, Grodd. See my time. See your fate. Accept my end. And the feedback freaks Grodd out as he's bleeding from the eyes and the nose. As we even see a shocked Lex Luthor turn back like, Grodd? And you can see the other point of that view of this scene in the Lex Luthor fight against...
No. ¿Qué
No,
pasó?
you...
What the hell is going?
But find him. I will pierce your mind. And I will find him. Hear me, Booster Gold. I will free you from... But Dark Gold responds back. And in fact, I think this is actually Booster Gold responding, showing Grodd what's to become. As he responds, no, you hear me, Grodd. See my time. See your fate. Accept my end.
Oh, no.
And the feedback freaks Grodd out as he's bleeding from the eyes and the nose. As we even see a shocked Lex Luthor turn back like, Grodd? And you can see the other point of that view of this scene in the Lex Luthor fight against the Demon in Superman 33. But then we pick back up with Guy Gardner as he thinks to himself. And it's now red and green, so he's kind of a little bit of both right now. He's calling on both powers, which is necessary. But he thinks to himself, what Jay said, respecting what came before, he's right. And it's not red or even green. It's not the Lantern Corps at all. What I truly am is a warrior. As we see, Guy Gardner has now chosen his form. No more bellyache, he thinks. This is what I was built for. Welcome to Voldar, Jay Garrick. You are on my turf now. As we see his true form, which is Voldarian, I believe. The little bit that I know about it is it's like an alien shape-shifting race, warrior race. So it's about to go down. But Jay Garrick now is, as he approaches Guy Gardner, he thinks to himself, it's time to let the anger go. It's time to start at the beginning with my clearest mind. What my sole goal was to wage war against evil and win. As he approaches and he tells Guy Gardner, swell planet guy, shame you'll have to die on it. But it's for the greater good. And then he rushes at Guy Gardner carrying a lightning bolt. But the first thing the guy does is shift his arm into a huge mason to block that strike. You don't get it, do you, Garrick? And then he changes the form of his hand into a big old cannon. See, I took your advice, and then he fires at Jay Garrick, who quickly runs out of that jail. And then Jay goes on the attack again, and he tries to fling that lightning bolt. Glad to hear somebody did, he shouts out as he hurls that bolt at Guy Gardner. But Guy Gardner just catches it. It's not just me you're up against, he tells Jay. It's the entire lineage of my Valdarian ancestors, an endless army of warriors dating back eons. As he holds Jay Garrick's lightning bolt. It's a physical sword type of thing, not an actual lightning bolt. But then he hurls it right back at Jay. So please, and then he lands flush, stabbing Jay right in the shoulder and pinning him up against some rocks. Then he changes his other hand into a cannon and aims it right at Jay. Have some respect for my elders, he tells Jay. And Jay stops him for just a minute. He tells him, Guy, do me one favor. And Guy's like, no mercy, Garrick. And Jay just smiles and he tells him, don't need it. Just beat the tar out of Darkseid for me, will you? And Guy responds, you got it, pal. And then, boom, fires a shot and it explodes Jay Garrick. K.O. Guy Gardner wins in what was a very brutal and bloody fight between Green Lantern and the Flash. Who'd have thunk it? But I'm here for it. KO is everything. Mercy Garrick and Jay as he holds. It's time to start Mason to block that strike. And then Jay goes on the attack again and he tries to fling that lightning bolt. Glad to hear somebody did, he shouts out as he hurls that bolt at Guy Gardner. But Guy Gardner just catches it. It's not just me you're up against, he tells Jay. It's the entire lineage of my Valdarian ancestors, an endless army of warriors dating back eons. As he holds Jay Garrick's lightning bolt. It's a physical sword type of thing, not an actual lightning bolt. But then he hurls it right back at Jay. So please, and then he lands flush, stabbing Jay right in the shoulder and pinning him up against some rocks. Then he changes his other hand into a cannon and aims it right at Jay. Have some respect for my elders, he tells Jay. And Jay stops him for a layout. But we see a city with the Wally West storyline. As was a very it is everything. Know who this woman is, but
What the?
is the shit. But then we pick back up in Central City with the Wally West storyline. As we see a woman, and I'm sure you guys know who this woman is, but let's just let it play out. But we see a woman on the phone, and she's like, yep, engaged. He's a forensic scientist. We met at a crime scene I was reporting on, of all things. Took him a while to ask, but that man is always dragging his feet. He's so sweet, like almost cornball sweet. You'll love him. and she gets a knock on the door while she's on this phone call, so she decides to get rid of the caller. Hold on, someone's here. I'll call you right back tomorrow, she says, as the knock just continues. And of course, she's frustrated, like anybody would be if they keep banging on their door like they done lost their damn mind. But she's like, all right, hold your horse. I mean, Miss West, Iris West. I've Iris, listen to me. Steers yet. Lays down Bart, and he's like, he just, I promise. And I've got to help. Oh, I've been absolutely digging this whole event. I think it's yet. Two more fights in the first round, and this round of the tournament at least to go. And I can't wait to see what happens in the next round. It's about to go down. It's already gone down. This thing has been amazing. But like I said, I want to hear all you guys' thoughts and theories down in the comments. Tell me all your craziest theories. I love them. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by dropping a like, sharing this video, and subscribing to Comics Icon for more icons in the comic book world. And you can also hit that hype button. And not only that, but I've also included the link to this comic it'll be in the description. But please feel free to click that link and get a copy of the comic for yourself. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.
This ya tenemos cómics para revisar, ¿no? God damn.
Ingeniería en Programación de Videojuegos, Campus Global. Empieza a materializar tu proyecto.
Están hartos de que cuestione sus órdenes. Sala tiene que reunir a su escuadrón y traer a Hal Jordan. De regreso con Jordan, él toma el papel de líder. Es verdad que todos están cansados, no son amigos, pero están aquí para trabajar juntos por última vez. Tienen que buscar a Krona, capturar a sus respectivas entidades e irse por caminos separados. La Índigo los transporta al sector perdido. Este es el planeta muerto Ryu. Krona debe estar aquí en algún lugar. Aquí le será más fácil esconderse. Después de todo, solo es un mundo estéril de huesos y cenizas. Al avanzar, Sinestro comienza a leer unos rastros de miedo en el siguiente cuarto. Parallax estuvo aquí. Esto es algo que le sorprende a Sinestro. Cuando Evin Sur creyó en la profecía de la noche más oscura y las páginas escondidas que lo vaticinaba, él escuchó rumores que decían que los capítulos enteros habían sido arrancados del libro de Oa. Este libro contiene 7 capítulos secretos. Contiene la historia que los guardianes siempre quisieron enterrar. Al abrirlo se encuentran con la historia de Krona. En el capítulo 4, verso 6 de los Manhunters, Krona seguía experimentando con las emociones, hasta que fue encontrado por los mismos Manhunters. Krona es buscado por todos sus crímenes. Nadie escapa a los Manhunters. No queda de otra más que dejar que el miedo fluya y superarlo. Krona utiliza el poder de la voluntad y acaba con los Manhunters presentes. Pero esto no acaba ahí, puesto que él toma el control de ellos para cambiar sus órdenes y provocar la destrucción de este sector. Más adelante fue capturado. Los guardianes le preguntan por qué lo hizo. Krona solo quería demostrar que hay falla en la fuerza policíaca sin emociones. Los Manhunters se volvieron en contra del universo con una simple alteración a su programa central. Todo el sector fue aniquilado y lloró por su sacrificio. Lloró por días y ninguno de los guardianes ha derramado una sola lágrima. Ganthet pregunta qué es este guante de poder y la energía de poder verde en su interior. Krona les dice que ellos no conocen los conceptos del miedo y la voluntad. Es inútil para ellos, pero teman a mi poder, la luz de Linterna Verde. Hace mucho tiempo el Linterna Verde Evin Sur murió trágicamente. El anillo seleccionó a Hal Jordan como su reemplazo. A pesar del gran debate de los guardianes sobre la idea de tener un humano en la corporación, el anillo nunca ha hecho una elección errónea. Por un tiempo muchos incluso comenzaron a creer que el anillo había elegido bien. A pesar de su falta de profesionalismo y control, Jordan fue el líder de la corporación y lo llevó a la victoria en más de una ocasión. Incluso aprendió a reconocer y superar el miedo, lo que le permitió derrotar a la encarnación viva del miedo. Escapó de la posesión de la entidad con su fuerza de voluntad. Aún así, Jordan nunca ha sabido tener sus emociones bajo control. Siguió de imprudente y desobediente. Por lo tanto, es considerado
Ay,
control. Siguió de imprudente y desobediente. Por lo tanto, es considerado como una amenaza de la corporación. Ahora incluso ha desafiado las leyes de la corporación y se alió con otros portadores de anillos, siendo considerado actualmente como un traidor. Por eso, los guardianes le ordenaron a Salak localizarlo para ponerlo bajo arresto. Jordan tiene razones para trabajar con los demás. Krona tomó posesión de las 7 fuerzas cósmicas más poderosas de la existencia,
¿qué chingues es
las
un
encarnaciones vivas del poder de las emociones que ellos portan. Lo que Krona planea hacer es algo que nadie sabe. Es por eso que planearon un interrogatorio. Pero Krona no estaba en casa, no hay rastro de él, solo un libro gigante. Estamos con Sinestro, quien comenta que Evin Sur creía que el libro de lo negro contenía los más oscuros secretos de los guardianes. Jordan lo interrumpe. Hay que dejar este libro y seguir buscando a Krona junto con las otras entidades. El libro se abre y dice que el planeta fue destruido por los Manhunters. Krona fue el responsable de ellos. Atrocitus dice que ya lo sabía, por eso hizo esta alianza. Planea encontrarlo para acabar con él personalmente. Será un ojo por ojo y así vengará la muerte de su planeta. Hal lo encara y le pregunta por qué si sabía que Krona había destruido su sector, no se los dijo. Si hubieran sabido que iría tras las entidades, lo hubieran buscado desde antes. Atrocitus le dice que no trabaja con nadie, y de momento solo lo hace para que él sea quien acabe con Krona. Carol tiene una pregunta. ¿Por qué Krona dejó este libro de suma importancia en este lugar? De la nada, el libro toma la batería del agente naranja. La Freezy logra rescatarlo, pero el libro lo toma a él también. El agente será parte del libro de lo negro y su guardiana la vampiresa de historia, Lysa Drake. En el planeta Oa, los guardianes piensan que hay alguna falla con los anillos. Sus más grandes líderes han hecho lo que han querido. Primero fue Krona, luego Sinestro y por último Hal Jordan. La corporación está lejos de ser perfecta, y esas imperfecciones tienen que ser eliminadas. Imperfecciones como Hal Jordan. La conversación se ve interrumpida. Después de miles de años, los guardianes dejaron de sentir emociones. Es hora que Krona los haga sentir algo. De regreso con Lysa, Sinestro le dice que ella es una miembro de los Sinestro Corps. Le ordena detener este ataque ahora mismo. Lysa no le será siempre leal. Ella fue encerrada en este libro durante los eventos de la Noche Más Oscura. Fue olvidada por Sinestro y sus corporaciones. Fue Krona quien lo rescató. Estas páginas tienen más relatos de los desconocidos que el libro de Oa con sus relatos de los linternas verdes. Pero al igual que Lysa, el libro de lo negro lo posee todo. Mientras tanto, los guardianes ya se han cansado de esto. No importa cuántas veces encierran a Krona, siempre se las arreglan para regresar. Pero incluso con las entidades a su favor, está pobremente preparado para derrotarlos. Krona les dice que es todo lo contrario. Ellos son los que no están preparados. Se les dijo hace tiempo, teman a sus poderes. Es hora que las entidades elijan a sus huéspedes. En el libro de lo negro, Sinestro no quiere ser poseído. Linterna Verde queda libre, pero todos los demás... Primero fue Krona, luego este ataque ahora mismo. Lysa no le será siempre leal. Ella fue encerrada en este libro durante los eventos de la Noche Más Oscura. Fue olvidada por Sinestro y sus corporaciones. Fue Krona quien lo rescató. Estas páginas tienen más relatos de los desconocidos que el libro de Oa con sus relatos de los linternas verdes. Pero al igual que Lysa, el libro de lo negro lo posee todo. Mientras tanto, los guardianes ya se han cansado de esto. No importa cuántas veces encierran a Krona, siempre se las arreglan para regresar. Pero incluso con las entidades a su favor, está pobremente preparado para derrotarlos. Krona les dice que es todo lo contrario. Ellos son los que no están preparados. Se les dijo hace tiempo, teman a sus poderes. Es hora que las entidades elijan a sus huéspedes. En el libro de lo negro, Sinestro no quiere ser poseído. Es necesario crear una detonación externa para que se puedan liberar. Sinestro y Jordan tienen que unir sus anillos para provocar dicha detonación. Al hacerlo, el linterna verde queda libre, pero todos los demás son consumidos por el libro. Lo único que queda de ellos son los anillos. Hal estaba por tomar el anillo de Sinestro, cuando el equipo especial de Salak aparece ante él para arrestarlo. Tiene que poner las manos en alto. Hal Jordan intenta explicarle la situación. Este es el libro que desapareció de Oa. Salak no le hace caso, los guardianes desean hablar con él, y para hacerlo deben quitarse el anillo. Jordan no quiere pelear, se conocen desde hace mucho tiempo, lo suficiente para esperar que por lo menos se haya ganado su confianza. Incluso cuando las cosas parezcan malas, tiene que dejar que le explique la situación. Mientras tanto, en el planeta Oa, Krona obliga a Parallax a regresar a su hogar. La entidad tiene que estar de regreso en la batería de poder para restaurar la impureza. Todos los linternas verdes se ven afectados. Hal Jordan sabe que Parallax regresó a la batería central de poder. Por alguna razón, sus compañeros han quedado infectados y quieren acabar con él. La energía no tuvo el mismo efecto en Hal Jordan, quien se prepara para escapar, pero antes de irse tomará los anillos de las diferentes corporaciones. Al viajar por el espacio, intenta comunicarse con algún otro linterna verde. Para su mala fortuna, nadie logra escucharlo. Hace tiempo, Krona hizo que los Manhunters se volvieran en contra del universo. Es el turno de los linternas para hacer lo mismo. Ellos pertenecen al igual que los guardianes. Es tiempo de mostrarle al universo el verdadero poder de la corporación Linterna Verde. Y bueno amigos, esto sería todo por este video. Se me olvidó comentar al inicio que esto pues es la continuación de los cómics que había estado subiendo de El Día Más Brillante. Ya saben,
happens when a Green Lantern loses everything? His ring, his eye, and nearly his life? Well, Guy Gardner was about to find out. See, after Hal Jordan snapped and became Parallax, Guy's world completely fell apart. His power ring started failing, and when he tried to stop Hal, things got brutal fast. Parallax didn't just destroy Guy's ring, he punched out his eye and left him in a coma for 3 weeks. Guy woke up powerless, broken, and desperate. So what does a stubborn guy like Gardner do? He joins the Monster Hunters on an expedition deep into the Amazon. That's where he found it, an ancient chalice filled with something called warrior water. One sip activated alien DNA that had been sleeping in his bloodline for 1,000 years, planted by an ancient race called the Voldarians. And just like that, Guy's body became a living weapon. He could morph his arms into swords, hammers, energy cannons. It's like Blue Beetle's armor, but instead of wearing it, it's biologically fused into his body. His missing eye was restored, and yeah, he even went toe-to-toe with Superman himself. But here's the thing, this whole warrior era only lasted about 30 issues before DC retconned and moved on from it. That's comics for you. Sometimes, even becoming a literal one-man army isn't enough to keep your own series going. What happens when a Green Lantern loses everything? His ring, his eye, and nearly his life? Well, Guy Gardner was about to find out. See, after Hal Jordan snapped and became Parallax, Guy's world completely fell apart. His power ring started failing, and when he tried to stop Hal, things got brutal fast. Parallax didn't just destroy Guy's ring.
Let's hope live-action Guy Gardner doesn't do some of the stuff his post-crisis self did. Oh boy. DC acknowledges his different post-crisis stuff. For example, even in newer comics, they acknowledge his physiology, his Vulgarian physiology from the post-crisis era in the rebirth stuff. Like you see him as normal, then you see him red, then you see him, the Voldarian stuff, and then he loses it, and then you see the rebirth stuff. Like you see how they did that. Like in their eyes, they're trying to imply all that stuff is still intact, apparently, when it comes to Guy's history. That's why you're going to see both continuities in this video. Let's get it. He's the Green Lantern character you think of when you think of, what if a Green Lantern was a butthole? Like, he'd be legit being mean to characters like Wonder Woman for no good reason. He has no chill. He would even troll about Superman's death. But even though he has dark humor, he still would defend him. He won't let people act like they're him. Why is he flirting with groupies in front of his Guy Gardner, Green Lantern? Pretty much proves with his energy manipulation, his Green Lantern ring, he can lift a lot of weight, hundreds of tons, even thousands of tons, because he catches the space station by making a literal slingshot. I would say he can lift a lot more, hundreds of thousands of tons and stuff, when you can make his own constructs literally bigger than buildings themselves and use it as a weapon. Are you really shocked he can lift over hundreds of thousands of tons? I mean, yeah, this is something he did while he was a Yellow Lantern. I'm sure he could do this as a Green Lantern too, making his constructs bigger than buildings, even skyscrapers and such. What do you think his blast power would feel like? Or his punches? Obviously, he can manipulate his punching power with his energy and his ring. He can hit hard enough and tackle you through building. We've seen him do all kinds of beings like this, and when you see him do stuff like punching so hard with his constructs to flatten this robot, it honestly should come as no surprise. Like, he can legit pretend to play baseball, hit hard enough, and destroy building-sized structures like a large space station. It's no wonder he can easily bring down or just destroy buildings. I mean, look at this stuff he's blasting away. It's no surprise he can hit way harder than any nuclear bomb you can think of. I would say whatever Hal Jordan can lift with his energy or willpower, I would say Guy shouldn't be far behind, considering he blasted through his shield here, for example. We know Hal Jordan tier beings can put the entire planets like Earth back together, so this should apply for Guy Gardner. Moving things like the moon shouldn't even be a conversation, honestly. When you realize who he's able to arm wrestle, obviously he's amplifying his strength with his Green Lantern ring. He's able to arm wrestle beings like Lobo, one of the strongest beings in DC history. The same guy that's strong enough to arm wrestle Kryptonian tier beings like freaking Supergirl. I shouldn't have to tell you when it comes to Kryptonians, you guys already know the deal, which is a character that is very similar to Superman. Obviously, a lot of people would say Superman got the advantage, but the fact that she's close enough or comparable lets you know what Guy Gardner is really competing against arm wrestling, this being known as Lobo, considering how strong Supergirl is, even compared to the Man of Steel himself. You guys know Kryptonian level beings can move planets. Superman or Supergirl tier beings have the kind of strength to move planets, considering that Superman sees Supergirl as being similar to his power range. And we know Lobo and Supergirl can compete with each other in arm wrestling contests, but so can Guy Gardner. Whether he's weaker or stronger, it doesn't really matter. He's somewhere in the range. The fact he's competing with these same beings would imply that Guy Gardner, he's a high-end Green Lantern tier being. He should be able to move planets as well with his power ring. But then this is still scratching the surface when you realize these arm wrestling beings like Lobo has muscles that can swing around literal star beings that possess stellar mass. And we literally see Lobo pull or move these kind of beings that have stellar mass. Despite this not being logical, Lobo doesn't care about logic and just brute forced it. The actual definition of stellar mass describes the mass of a star. So Guy Gardner is arm wrestling a being that can move things way larger than the largest planets in our solar system, or move things that have more mass than the largest planets in our solar system. It's more like saying he can move hundreds of thousands of Earths. And if we convert all this to his blast power, being able to move this kind of mass, matching beings that can move this kind of mass, the raw blast power he would have to be able to produce would be over 3,000 times the power needed to destroy Earth. So saying he's a planet buster is an oversimplification. He's leagues upon leagues past Earth-shattering levels of raw energy to be able to move that much weight. That's right. If you can move the sun just a little bit, that means
La
the
neta
amount of
no me
energy
puedo
you produce
imaginar
is
qué
enough
pedo
energy to destroy the Earth
contra que se están
3,000 times
enfrentando
over.
Superman.
So he's way above Earth-shattering
Sigo
levels
sin
of power.
podérmelo
The
ver.
size difference is laughable. I mean, it's funny because when he's
La
not being
escala de
bros with
poder es
Lobo, like you
ridícula,
can
¿no?
see his power comparisons to him being literally hit by Lobo. I mean, in this particular situation, he was a Yellow Lantern. Yeah, don't ask. He was a Yellow Lantern for a little while. He got kicked out. Yeah, he actually hurt Lobo with his hits. I think he could probably do this as Green Lantern too. That's why I'm just showing you. Yellow Lantern, Green Lantern, it don't matter. I would say in his Yellow Lantern state, he's probably more or less on his Green Lantern levels of power based on the stuff we've seen him do, punching beings through this many asteroids and stuff. Guy Gardner's feats are consistent when you look at the characters he has to compete against beings that can blow the planet away. Like Blue Beetle, his energy shields can shield from. He's even took hits when not fully shielded up, battled him, and drilled him with his construct, overpowering Blue Beetle in the situation, showing he's a powerhouse. This being known as Despero is a freaking team buster. Like, look at this. Wonder Woman, Shazam,
Look at
Superman,
this.
Power Girl, like high-end powerhouses, he's boxing them all at the same time. Like, this is ludicrous, y'all. Multiple teams, and this is like a more than one-time occasion type situation. When it comes to fighting Flash, Martian Manhunter, powerhouses both at the same time. You probably wonder what does this have to do with Guy Gardner? Well, it has a lot to do with him because Despero was about to blast this person, and he contained the blast with his energy, turned it back on him. It's one of those situations where I'm not necessarily saying he's equal to him in a 1v1, but the fact his hits can cause him discomfort should be taken note. Superman has contained black holes. His body can withstand stuff that was going to mess up the whole solar system. This is the kind of stuff powerhouses in DC do. Look, I'm not saying he's equal to Superman, but for him to be able to cause Superman discomfort, knowing how durable this guy is, like I'm talking about a guy that can survive supernovas multiplied by 50, even when he's weakened by sun energy. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So these beings are well above star-shattering levels of power, and he's damaging them with his blast. So calling Guy a sun shatterer is still technically an oversimplification of his raw might. Like powerhouses in DC withstanding black holes and stuff is normal for Superman tiers and such. Again, not saying he's equal to Superman, but he still can kind of damage him with his blast. You see why that's impressive? And this being Despero, he contained his blast. This same being that be fighting multiple Superman tier type being. He contained this guy's blast and then launched him away with his construct. I mean, he blasted back Martian Manhunter here. But if you still think I'm overrating his power, well, this occasion really proves why he's not just some fodder, no-name Green Lantern. Because he literally took on multiple Green Lanterns at the same time, just to show the reader that he is a higher-end Green Lantern. I mean, they're always fighting Yellow Lantern. Same concept. He took out the head of a Sinestro Corps member. He's out here busting constructs of multiple different Green Lanterns with a single hit on his own. He's shielding from 3 different Green Lanterns at the same time. Hal Jordan, who you think of when you think of like poster boy Green Lanterns, right? When he makes Hal Jordan kind of drowsy, that says a lot about how hard he can hit. Yeah, solar system shattering power is one thing, but there was something that was going to go down when a whole bunch of Lanterns were involved, including Guy. Guy was in the situation where World was going to explode and it was going to wipe out the entire Milky Way galaxy. Lanterns working together had to distribute and not let this happen, containing such amount of energy. It's hard to measure because every Lantern isn't equal and every Lantern did contribute a different part. But I would say Guy has to be somewhere at the higher ends to even be able to contribute with these being one of the many Lanterns working together to stop something that was going to wipe out the entire Milky Way galaxy. But if you think this shouldn't count because it was a team effort, well, when you look at his performances with the higher end Green Lanterns, when he's breaking out of constructs, when this many Lanterns are trying to restrain him, That says a lot. And these ain't no ordinary Green Lanterns. We're talking about the best of the best, like Hal Jordan being one of the best of the best. He's breaking through his. I think we all could agree that Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner are within the same ballpark when it comes to blast power. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, think about it. You know Kyle is a beast when he's able to damage a amped up Hal Jordan when he was Parallax, when he was Cosmic Being status. So he can do this while he's amped. What do you think he can do to his base self? You see, they're similar, right? Bringing this up because a good way to understand a high-end lantern's power is to understand Kyle. Like earlier, I already mentioned the star shattering stuff. You know, he can contain stars that are trying to explode. You already know that kind of stuff, right? But scans like this make it clear that beings, like during the events with Imperiex, he had taken the energy from the destruction of entire galaxy. All that energy was being let out, and Kyle Green Lanterns can contain this kind of energy on his freaking own. All this stuff makes Guy Gardner look impressive because he's also a high-end Green Lantern. Because Guy made this construct, right? And all these different heavyweight Green Lanterns had to team up to break this construct. They even given him props that he has willpower. I mean, he didn't take him on in a 1v1 or nothing, but I just think the fact that he gave him this much trouble on his own when there's heavy end ones like John Stewart and Hal Jordan in the mix, that lets you know he has to be a powerhouse Green Lantern, right? And I don't want to be that guy to bring up Lobo again, but hey, Guy Gardner did arm wrestle a being like Lobo, a being that can trade blows with godlike beings that can shake the cosmos itself. So I guess all this technically makes sense. That he can manifest a will that can shake the whole cosmos, matching Lobo this hard. We know Cyborg Superman is Superman level, of course, right? Anybody that can withstand a blast from Cyborg Superman that has 4 different lantern rings, I would say you have to be a powerhouse. Not saying he's stronger, but look, I would say you have to be a powerhouse to withstand a blast from a being this strong. You know you got to have a lot of willpower, and, you know, the stronger the willpower, the mightier your ring and stuff. You guys know that, right? Well, somebody uses a construct on him, and even when he doesn't have his ring, it doubles down on the fact that he's a higher-end being. When it comes to will, he deflects theirs without no ring. And when he does have his ring on, it's described as having a leaky water faucet. Sparks always fly when he's just standing still. His willpower can't wait to get free. That's how much willpower he got. Usually willpower in comics or just fiction in general is like the ultimate counter for mind control type stuff. There's a reason why characters can't just mind control Guy. He has a lot of willpower. He counters it, which also adds up with the fact he's a higher-end Green Lantern. He has the willpower to moon the Justice League. Of course, he has enhanced speed, reflex-wise, and just raw speed-wise, deflecting attacks from other Green Lanterns, beings that can shoot out beams of light. He can react to laser cannons and save people before they get hit by the laser cannon. There was something that was literally the speed of light, but he was still able to catch up to it regardless, proving that he can achieve faster than light type speed animated construct. Grab it like a claw, dragon claw. This is not a one-time thing. You know how fast space is. You know how in Star Wars you see the ships moving past the stars so fast that you're like, you just see a whole bunch of lines. That's kind of what you see Guy Gardner do here, and he catches up to it despite his speed. And he's on his like little space motorcycle. This is just casual stuff for Green Lanterns. I mean, Green Lanterns have to be able to protect a big section of space. They have to be able to fly to different parts of space. It makes sense. Like, you literally see him travel at least 1 light year in several hours. He's over thousands of times faster than the speed of light. Actually, Guy Gardner implied he can travel the whole length of the universe within 10 hours, which is apparently 100 trillion light years. That's 80 quadrillion times faster than the speed of light. Yes, the DC universe is bigger than our apparent observable universe. In short, Green Lanterns are basically speedsters. On top of all this stuff I mentioned, he has fighting skills, said to have 99% accuracy, marksmanship. There's certain versatile things you forget Green Lanterns can do, like go through walls, aka go intangible, shield himself or others from telepathic type of attack. You can become a really good detective or a tracker, tracking radiation or just people. It even knows about magic. It can sense the magic. And guys, I've hinted at it throughout this video of him having different rings. In this particular situation, Yellow Lantern, this pretty much shows he can do the same stuff as a Green Lantern, ridiculous speed, flight speed, which is of course expected. Yeah, I'm late in the video, but say it with me, everybody. Guy Gardner has had the famous say it with me temporary power up where he gets real strong, then loses the power because they got to make him stay the Green Lantern. His temporary power is a little different because it kind of links to his actual physiology. Wait, you guys know the story, the legend of Guy Gardner. Started off as a normal guy. He did sports, became a green member of the Green Lantern Corps. Some of this stuff you already know throughout the video. Had a girl, hot head. He became a Yellow Lantern. This is the temporary power I'm talking about. The way he looks, yep. I guess you could say Guy was never human after all. Well, not just human, he was a hybrid. He was a human mixed with an alien race that can do all kinds of weird stuff, including, but not limited to, shaping his body into different weapons. You could say he has some decent healing, all because of his Voldarian ancestors. Stated here, his Voldarian genetics brought him back from the brink of death. Yeah, there's a lot to Guy. So I guess you could say he's a powerhouse tier without even relying on the Green Lantern ring. Like, we see him turn his arms into spikes, can fly, can shift his arms into guns or a knife. So if I'm being honest, all that blast power, powerhouse stuff that I showed you earlier, you can say he's like that, but just naturally without no type of anything, no ring or nothing. Just his physiology. I guess you can say his only limitation in his alien form, like he has two forms, his human looking form and his alien form, he will turn back, kind of like Super Saiyan 3 if he uses the form too long. So you could say his form has like a stamina issue. That's the real only weakness, really. It's talked about here, he's been in it too long. Saying these powers should have came with an instruction manual. You can even try to catch him off guard while he's in his humanish looking mode, but nah, he could just straight up transform and it would just fix all that stuff up, like how Deathstroke tried to hit him, but it didn't work well. He's got hit by heavy hitters like Aquaman and retaliated. Kryptonian tier beings like Power Girl, he's durable enough to withstand hits even if he goes all the way to space. I mean, he's been hit by Superman. I mean, let's be real, he can easily produce handheld bombs that is as destructive as nukes. So yeah, he has destructive power to blow away a city. I mean, he's on some adapting type stuff, absorbing their flames in this particular situation with Blue Devil and Fire. They kind of gave him a temporary power up on top of this. Beings like Booster Gold, we see him hit, gets in a straight up boxing match with Major Force, damaging him with his guns, making blades that can murk Major Force. His blast power can blow a hole through Major Force, saying he can blast with enough force to destroy a planet based on all these different opponents, powerhouses that you've seen this mode do. That would be like an oversimplification, honestly. Thanks to his Voldarian physiology, Superman said he hits as hard as Doomsday, maybe harder. Green Lantern tiers like John Stewart even describe him as a massive amount of raw power. So basically, earlier when I was bringing up Superman tier stuff, shaking the cosmos type of strength or punching power, all that kind of raw power should apply to this version of Guy Gardner. These are raw powerhouse, high end. Superman also said he's a better fighter than Doomsday too. But of course, you know, the writers got to go back to the status quo and they can't keep him with this kind of power. So its power started going out of control and it was pretty much being too dangerous. It's revealed that his own body is rejecting itself. His organs are twisting around inside his shape-shifting physiology. It's fighting with him. And of course, his DNA is rebuilding itself with his human DNA, of course, being the dominant one. And you see the ring come on him yet again. And he's back as a Green Lantern. So, it was a temporary power. But yeah, it was a cool temporary power, even though it should have been permanent because it's his DNA, but whatever. DC wants him to be a Lantern. I thought this power was kind of cool, though. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you like him better as a Green Lantern, or do you like him better as a Voldarian? How many characters do you know that have both used the Red Ring of Rage and Love, being a Sapphire temporarily? Only Guy would have the privilege to use both. But of course, this was only temporary. For all of these different lanterns, they all had different colors right here, even Hal. But of course, this changed and it was back to green. He's always changing lantern colors. He'll go from green, sometimes he's yellow, sometimes he'll wield both red and yellow, which is crazy. Rage and fear. He's what you would call the edgiest Green Lantern, I would say. I mean, heck, there was even a time when he was a member of the Dark Stars. Like, sometimes he loses his ring, he has to find some way to get more powered up than normal. But for the most part, a lot of the stuff I've already went over, it's the same concept with Rebirth, New 52. It's the same stuff. It's based on his imagination, his ring power. 1 ounce, 1 ton, he can change the weight of his projectiles or his energy. So that's why you see different lanterns like make weights on beams to help weigh them down. This isn't necessarily Guy here, but stuff Guy could do too. He's a lantern, so of course he's one of the most versatile characters ever. Like in the Rebirth, they talk about his earlier uniform, and you can see how his uniform differs from everybody else's uniform and how he got his own like little swag. He can make all sorts of things with his mind, imagination, like a drill, blade, mace-like structure, battle suits, like his very own Iron Man armor with a giant hammer, flying platforms to hold different beings, giant fists, can watch TV. green aura. Willpower gives him extreme durability. That's why you see bullets bouncing off of him. He can make his Green Lantern constructs act like actual water or waves. Can make guns of all sorts, cannons, cameras he can actually take pictures with and then communicate through them. His ring can literally scan for different locations, create decoys so you would chase after the wrong thing, constructs that he can use to see through objects like the other lantern, similar stuff that you're used to, right? It's pretty obvious, just like the last continuity, he can lift a lot of weight with his ring. When it comes to vehicles in space that are accelerating, he can make chains to lock these vehicles down to where they can't move, proving he can lift like a couple tons easily. It's expected he has a ton of blast power, or you can say he can just hit really hard in general, like he can blast through walls. With his different constructs, he can blow down buildings, obviously. He can make his literal constructs the size of buildings and hit with the mass of an entire building, punching you in the face. He can basically pretend to be a building-sized being punching you. Why do you think when he blasts with other Green Lanterns, they do this to trees or the environment? Or big things like this, like you can see the size comparison. It looks like a freaking mountainous size thing. Just hitting it, making his own Green Lantern hammer can knock something this large over. It's quite obvious he can hit hard. I mean, matter of fact, Guy is helping out on these occasions, so it shows that he's a helpful contributor in making planet-sized constructs covering the entirety of Mars along with other Green Lanterns. This kind of stuff implies he can make constructs bigger than moon-sized structures if he can help make constructs around the entirety of Mars. Yeah, sure, this isn't Guy, but yeah, beings like Hal can move entire things like the moon. With his ring, why wouldn't Guy be able to do something similar? You know, if he can help make a construct the size of a planet like Mars, couldn't he just move a planet by making a giant hand to push it? Usually when the Lanterns are doing an impressive feat of power, usually Guy is there with them, proving that he's not just dead weight in comparisons, just like the other ones. He can help break through a dimensional barrier when all the Lanterns concentrate and work together. But yeah, this was a team effort. But yeah, Guy's always with them doing these things. General Zod, right? See Superman punching him, right? We know Superman can punch hard, right? We see him get hit by Superman and Supergirl. So it's clear, no matter how you look at it, Zod is somewhere within Supergirl, Superman ranges. When you agree with punching power, durability, when you agree. This is relevant because we legit see high-end Green Lantern tiers like Hal Jordan take on Zod, and it's not what you would call a mismatch. They go at it panel for panel, and he even gets the upper hand over freaking Zod with no kryptonite, y'all. Oh, this isn't the first time you've seen Hal do stupid stuff that don't make no kind of sense, like shooting from 250,000 Kryptonians temporarily, of course, if they didn't do it for good, but it's the fact that he did it for a little while is insane. They, of course, eventually can bust through. This is literally absurdity that he even shielded for a little while against as many Kryptonians. This has a lot to do with Gardner, considering he was able to do this while Zod was technically amplified by more than one sun. No, you see that there's more than one sun in the sky. You can literally see it. Like, here's the thing. I'm not necessarily saying he's equal to Hal Jordan. I'm saying he's somewhere in his neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was here during this conflict with these Kryptonians and Zod. Yeah, when Guy Gardner was fighting Kryptonian kids, it didn't go as well. Plus, I think part of this, he was taking it easy on him because he was a kid. You know, he's somewhere in Hal Jordan's ballpark because in this occasion, when they're all the powerhouses are threatening Zod, Guy is here implying that he's a threat too if they was to team up on him. There's implications that higher end Green Lanterns can hurt even Supergirl tiers. You know, Supergirl level beings can withstand assaults that can bring down galaxies, y'all. What does that say about Green Lantern tiers, Guy Gardner tiers? Supergirl tiers can withstand blasts from beings that have the power of 1,000 galaxies in their hand. All of this stuff, even if he's not exactly equal when it comes to punching power, he's somewhere in their neighborhood to damage certain Kryptonian tiers, even higher ends like Zod. Just being somewhere in their neighborhood would imply galaxy-destroying type of power. You know, even for Guy Gardner, even if he's not the mightiest of the mightiest Green Lanterns, he's close enough. Like, he's like one of the poster people when it comes to high-end human Green Lanterns, you know? But on top of all this raw power, being a Green Lantern, even without it, he is implied to have just straight-up fighting skills, using actual normal weapons at times, even practicing boxing. No, seriously, it's weird seeing beings that have Green Lantern rings use actual other guns other than their Green Lantern guns. But anyway, there was this being. He didn't have his ring on. He told this guy to fight him without the ring, even though he physically had a stat advantage because this being was obviously bigger and stronger looking. Guy Gardner didn't care, and it shows his fighting skills, his resolve. Even though this being having a clear physical advantage in raw punching power, just muscle, mass in general, Guy doesn't stop. And he digs deep. Despite him getting bloody, he actually starts using his battle IQ to get the advantage over this being in a contest of straight hands without no ring on, which is actually crazy. This did take everything he had, though. He fell out. Just like the other continuity, it shouldn't be no surprise that he's really fast. They even talk about it here, a jillion miles an hour. That's not a real number, but still fast. There's plenty of scans of them just flying to different planets. This also implies light speed. Some of these scans, they don't necessarily tell us the exact time it took to do this stuff, so it's really up in the air. These comics do imply that they can just fly to different sectors whenever they feel like it. I mean, you know how spaced out each planet is. You have to be pretty much way over light speed to even get any distance in space. You can see these scans. You can kind of look at how they're passing meteors or stars and how it looks like the Star Wars theme, where they're warping through space so fast you can't even see like where you're going really. That's kind of what Guy and them be doing on occasions like this. There's plenty of occasions of this. It's implied they can fly 1 billion miles in a very short amount of time. It was this occasion when they was approaching Saturn. It kind of showed off his speed, but at the same time very vague. But at the same time, you know, when they're amped up by Blue Lantern, it's implied he can cross the distance of planets like in no time. Again, pretty vague. It's implied he can fly really freaking fast. But at the end of the day, all of this could be me. You probably didn't know this troll of a lantern was this mighty, did you? Thanks for the donos, though, everybody. Respect Guy Gardner. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.
They have a dimensional portal, and it leads to a parallel world.
What?
Yeah.
You met your own self from a parallel dimension?
Dude, that's sick. I want to be a real hero.
En Hotmart tienes herramientas exclusivas para despegar tu negocio digital, pudiendo vender hasta un 26% más. Ven ahora a dónde están los mejores y más grandes. Hotmart, lo hacemos real.
Holy shit. Y me dormí. No, pues sí, creo que me descarro. Está bien, jetoncito.
I saw mommy kissing Sam.
Sale, dice. Voy a Merry Christmas. ¿Qué son esas madres? The Pussy Vendor. Bien jetoncito, que. Jetoncito. encanta la repetición.
I'll put you on ice. Careful, you'll catch cold. That was amazing. I'll go all right. Cold front's coming.
No. Chinga. Ay, ya perdimos ya.
Quit screwing around.
No, no.
Might need a sweater.
No mames, neta, ¿qué pido con esto?
Careful, you'll catch cold.
Chinga y no.
Here comes a cold one. Cold front's coming through.
No. Joder, a ver. Se está empeñando en no dejarnos jugar. No sé. Pinche retro. Tan mal.
comes a cold one. You're on thin ice.
Puta madre, yo ni siquiera le dije que hiciera eso. Ahí está, por fin. Puta madre. No, es que se lo diga bien que te importa.
A cold one. Resistance is pointless. Cold front's coming through.
Vamos, qué fastidioso.
Cold front's coming through.
Ay, ¿te puedes quitar? No. Estos. Yippee-ki-yay. El chiste es ocupar lo más rápido que se pueda, Ana. Super que. Lo más pinche rápido que sea posible. No, no. Dale verga, casi. Ay, aquí va. Tontito. Por spameo. Chingado mono. 350, 630. Ay, por fin, pero ahorita que puedo generar todo. Me está acabando el tiempo. Huevo. Espera, lo tenía que matar. Carajo. Nos hizo falta algo de daño. Tal vez unos especiales 3 con el Robin o algo así. Pero es que también. Pinche máquina necia. Sí, fíjate que se hubiera desperdiciado manos jugando una de Shazam nada más contra Mr. con el Capitán Cold. Chido. No nos pueden matar, hijos de eso. Sí, no se puede subir más. What the hell? Which team is the best del mundo? se le quite. Unos 4. Eso no me la reviento. Porque importante es subir el veneno. Bloquea. Eso, muy bien. Así se juega. No nomás así quedándote viendo como si te creyera mucho. Ahí debe haber estado chido que se invadiera Alex. ¿Qué fue ese reto? ¿O era un crítico? Creo que no me sé eso. Tienen que ser bobos, ¿no? Toma. Uh-oh.
You trifle with the god of thunder.
Chin. Ay, sí, la neta, supongo que los desarrolladores específicamente pensaron que eso fuera de esa forma. Ay, no. La abrí. No, no sé si se puede mostrar. Si quiero que me ataquen en esta temporada. Es sopa. 94, 77, 82. Se me dio cerca. 82. Estos güeyes no lo saben, pero yo soy quien jugaba con Gatúbela en Injustice 1. No conozco a nadie que fuera con Gatúbela de bronce. Ya está medio ganas de jugar ese otro. O sea, y hay un secreto que espero que nunca reparen. De las cuentas nuevas, de todas las cuentas nuevas. Tal vez ya lo repararon, ¿no? Ya no ha salido Alexa, sí. Ay, güey, topa ese equipo. Ya se enojaron. Pues, qué buena idea, al menos ya están dando ideas más chidas. Lástima que pues alguien inmune a la congelación y ya, ¿no? Armonioso, como dice. Oh, eso de pesar que no nos hacen nada.
Atrocitus.
No va a estar regalado, pero de que se puede no perder, se puede no perder. No cualquiera se jugaría ese tipo. Son. Órale, pégame, pendejo. Pégame. No, ni madres, pégame, puto. Pégame. No, qué puto.
You'll never get past me.
Eso, muy bien. Sigue así, pégame. Estoy hablando. A huevo, por fin me hacen caso. Y mamamos, güey. Pégame, puto. Ya no traigo a Brainiac. Así de sencillo. Interesante. Ay, no. Casi me mata. Dame Alex. Eso, muy bien. Ahí hubieran puesto el rey. Ouch. This was great. You just have to trigger it. ¿A dónde? Quietecito. Y calla. ¿Quién era? I am Aspect. Ya no necesitas que dure más de lo que dura un reflejo. Un relevo. Perdón.
Tickles. Bad idea to tick me off. This world is mine. You'll never get past me. There's no place to hide. Push yourself harder.
Ouch.
I'm Batman.
Your blood will spill. You'll bathe in your own blood.
Brinca. You bathe in your own blood.
Fighting me is a mistake.
This world is better without you.
Resistance is fails.
Relevo doble para que se te quite.
I'm the Man of Steel. This world is mine. Get off my earth.
Your blood will spill.
Push yourself harder. This is for your own good. There's no place to hide. Justice requires order. This is for science. I'm Batman. Bad idea to tick me off. I'm the Man of Steel.
Ya se apagó. ¿Dónde está el pinche? Ya fui. Adiós. Nos vemos. A ver, no creo que todavía pueda ganar.
Push yourself harder. This is for your own good. This world is mine. Tickles.
Mierda, ya no me necesito despertar. Ouch. Son los unos que ya no tengo ni 1% de... A ver, espera. que no la mordieras. Ve, te estoy diciendo que no. Si la logro reparar y la vuelves a montar, te voy a madre. No, no va a funcionar. Sí, sí, me sale. Ahora más difícilmente entra. ver si lo puedo solucionar. Entonces, un piquete. Fin de agujas. A ver, sí. Voy a sacar el bozal para que puedas. Caramba. Quiero uno de batería. ¿Me podrías prestar tantito el cargador? ¿Le abro? Wow, logré lo imposible. Milagro de Navidad. Ya no tengo intentos. Oh, espera, me hace falta algo. Ocho. Creo que ya sé cómo. Esto se puede hacer con auto. ¿Qué es esto? Espérenme. Ahí voy. Ahí voy. Chanfle. Espérame. No, 900. Tienes que estar bromeando. 115. Aquí estás. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ahí voy, espérame. Wow, they're all.
A huge thanks to Brian for sponsoring this video. Good night, fellow mathematicians. Welcome back to another video. So, my second child is on the way, kind of. My wife is already in labor, kind of. He's overdue for around 2 weeks by now, and I could just sit around and do nothing and just wait for it to happen. I could also record a video on something that I had planned for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I hope you're going to enjoy the video. Leave your prayers down there below that my wife is going to come out of that whole thing unscathed.
The rematch? What?
The quantum computer they're calling it can compute many times faster than the current breed of supercomputers. The successful quantum computer
1 minute ago.
What's up,
Creo que ya lo vi.
Well,
Come on.
red for the blood of evil man. Just before he finally dies, I see his true face as Jason Todd pulls that hood off his face. I don't care, he thinks. And meanwhile, this whole time, Jason Todd has been getting stabbed to shit. Like, these two dudes have been getting jacked up. He even caught one of those finger electrical devices that Joker uses. He caught everything. But now Jason Todd sits over the Joker, who looks to be down and defeated. These two guys both have been in a brutal battle. But I swear, it looks like Jason Todd really got the worst of that battle, if I'm being honest. Y'all let me know. But the Joker looks like he's defeated. And Jason Todd now climbs back out of that graveyard and thinks to himself, victory, yes, lost a lot of blood. I feel lightheaded. Even if I die alongside him, I know I was not created by Joker or by Batman. I made myself. I'm my own hero. I am the Red Hood. I know he has some trick up his sleeve, some way to live on, but it doesn't matter. Because tonight and forever, we both know who really won. As we see Jason Todd now slumped over a headstone, and then we see the Joker. His heart looks like it's picked back up by a pacemaker or whatever this device is. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But his heart thumps again a couple of times. Thump, thump, ha, ha. And he laughs that last laugh. K.O. As we see his eyes closed. And then we pick up with our regularly scheduled Watchtower interlude as Doomsday, Time Trapper, is back in this fight, and Dark Gold has now got him in his clutch.
No vas. Ten cuidado con los chistes. Time Trapper.
clutches. The fighters all move to the next round, Time Trapper. It's too late now, and he pushes his face against the window. I want you to watch. You did this, not me. The fire pits are full. You thought you could hold me back. And now, Earth is new apocalypse, as the entire Earth has been enveloped. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. Damn, y'all. This issue was deep. And a lot of nostalgia. Like I said, Jason Todd, that Death in
number
the
2?
Family was my favorite story arc.
Ockham.
Second one after that.
Mi trabajo es fácil porque uso Clica. Así es como
Tan
llevo el control de
consumido, güey.
todas
¿Qué
mis
pedo con
tareas.
el
Empiezo vaciando todo.
traductor automático?
That was probably Secret Invasion by Marvel. Not that MCU version. I'm talking about the real. Issue was deep and a lot of nostalgia from it. Like I said, Jason Todd, that Death in the Family was my favorite story arc ever in comics. The second one after that was probably Secret Invasion by Marvel. Not that MCU version. I'm talking about the real comic. That thing was dope.
Si las cosas empeoran, ya no podré protegerlos.
¿Protegerme de quién? ¿Quién cree que protege a quién aquí?
El Superman mexicano es una de mis versiones favoritas de este personaje, a pesar de que actualmente está enterrado por DC Comics. Le gusta a muchísimas personas más porque la película de Dioses y Monstruos la verdad es que es una joyita, pero siento que mucha gente en realidad no entendió el desarrollo del personaje. Lo primero que dicen es que Hernán Guerra hace lo que se tenga que hacer para erradicar el mal, a diferencia del bonachón de Clark Kent, lo cual es verdad hasta cierto punto, porque la realidad es que mataba, ya no lo hace, lo hacía. Su viaje precisamente se trata de eso. El cómo mantenerse alejado de la gente y en constante tensión con el gobierno lo llevó a tener un conflicto de confianza con el mundo. El villano de la historia precisamente se aprovecha de eso. En la Liga de la Justicia mata. Y es facilísimo para él incriminar a estos antihéroes porque nadie les va a creer. Científicos que habían estado trabajando en un plan de contingencia por si algún día la Liga perdía por completo el control, comienzan a morir uno por uno. Así que lo lógico es creer que estos sujetos se enteraron de ese proyecto y comenzaron a hacer lo suyo contra los involucrados a manera de venganza y para evitar ser sometidos.
¡Ja! Quieren incriminarnos. Alguien está tratando de incriminar a la Liga de la Justicia. ¿Quién tendría las agallas?
Parte de esta historia también tiene que ver con el descubrimiento de Hernán sobre su padre. Al inicio él creía que su padre biológico era un científico brillante y que había luchado hasta el último momento tratando de salvar a Krypton. Y vaya que estaba equivocado. Su verdadero padre, el General Zod, en realidad había sido gran responsable de la destrucción de su planeta. Y a decir verdad, no actuaba muy distinto a como lo hacía Hernán. Acababa con aquellos que él creía que no merecían vivir. Incluso destruyó el legado del hombre que arriesgó todo por mantener su apellido a salvo más allá de Krypton. La evolución de Hernán es en gran parte impulsada por este crudo descubrimiento. Al final, digamos que no ganó la herencia de Zod con Hernán tratando de gobernar la Tierra ni nada de eso, sino que tuvo más peso la crianza de sus padres inmigrantes e incluso contar con buenos aliados. Después de todo aprendió por qué es importante mantener los pies en el suelo como un humano. Lex Luthor de hecho puede percibir ese cambio, por lo que le confía los últimos archivos de Krypton sabiendo que esos conocimientos sobre tecnología, ingeniería y medicina serán compartidos con el mundo. En efecto, Superman se convierte en en un verdadero héroe después de un camino lleno de errores, y en mi opinión eso no lo vuelve aburrido en absoluto. De hecho, creo que es algo que lo convierte en un personaje muy, muy interesante.
He estado pensando, Kirk. Cambiar la forma en la que actuamos. No más política, no más muertes. ¿Hablas en serio?
Ojalá vuelvan a darle uso algún día.
Si las cosas empeoran, ya no podré protegerlos.
¿Protegerme de quién? ¿Quién cree que protege a quién aquí?
El Superman mexicano es una de mis versiones favoritas de este personaje, a pesar de que actualmente está enterrado por DC Comics. Le gusta a muchísimas personas más.
What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got Superman, issue number 33. Another one of the DC KO All Fight Month fights. This time with Lex Luthor versus the Demon. And ladies and gentlemen, first off, Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I hope you got everything your heart's desire, as well as I hope you get to enjoy this time with family and comics, you dig? But, ladies and gentlemen, in case you guys missed the previous Superman number 32, then I'll go ahead and I'll post the link at the top of the screen for you guys so you can check that out, and then come back and catch up with the rest of them, because that is a very important issue for the backstory, not just the tournament. But when we left off with that issue, Superwoman is back. Lois Lane, she had regained the powers of Superman and became Superwoman once again. But we also had the return of Superboy Prime, as well as Superman robots to help them in this fight against the Legion of Darkseid. And not only that, but we found out some key information in this Darkseid plot to take over and reform the world as New Apocalypse. So please make sure you catch up with that so you don't fall behind on where we're going with this thing. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are ready to find out who wins this brutal battle between the genius of Lex Luthor and the brutal might of the Etrigan, plus you want to see what happens next in the fight to get this information to Time Trapper about his whole role in the event of DCKO as foretold by Superman's mom. Yeah, make sure you go back and catch up. But ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are waiting for all of that to culminate, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. But we picked this issue up from Lex Luthor's perspective, and he's reminiscing about a time he spent in the underworld as he thinks to himself, I've had to make difficult choices in my life, ones that have led me to precarious positions, but ones I thought were best for the world. And I paid for those choices until, as he's approached by Norama in the underworld, are you ready, Lex, for this all to be over? All you have to do is make a deal with me. And Lex continues to think. And ever since that day with Neuron in hell, one question has haunted me as we pick up with his fight with the demon already in progress. Does Lex Luthor have a soul? And he continues to think. Even as I battle a literal demon, I'm unsure whether what I expected was real or not. I've died, been reborn, been remade, and created again since then. I've been given multiple chances at life, and with each one I've tried to learn from the last. Did I cheat the deal? Did I cheat the system created by the devil himself? Good and bad are meaningless to me, and all of these thoughts are going on while he's still going back and forth with the demon in this brutal fight. I do what I know is right. That is something Superman could never understand. Recently, I spent time on the side of the angels, working with my hated rival. But he chose to end that partnership. What gives him or anyone the right to judge me or my choices? I've contemplated my own role in this universe many times, and even now, When Darkseid returns and we must fight, I still will do what I believe is best. But there are moments when I'm by myself, alone with my thoughts. My genius means I must consider all things. I must question, and I must wonder what will happen the next time that I die. As in that moment we see the demon unleash hellfire on Lex, burning him to a crisp inside of his Lex suit. K.O. Lex loses this first round. As we regenerated, and the demon continues. The heart of Apocalypse sent us to my old home in Camelot. It must want you to rot. Then Lex responds, why are you here, demon? What do you care if Darkseid arrives? And Etrigan responds, long ago, I experienced his dishonesty on a cosmic odyssey. I have seen the infinite darkness beyond his facade. He exploited me then, and I wish to chat with the old god. In the name of help, Zatanna let Jason out of his cage. So this is one of the few times Jason Blood and I are on the same page. And the Apocalypse tells the fighters to choose your form for battle. The next round begins now. And as both of the two stand and look at their options, their forms over time and history, the demon says, speak of the devil. I only have so many forms to take to the next level. And you? I assume you'll choose to be something brand new? And Lex responds, I'm understanding this tournament the hard way. It is not only about who has the most power. There's more strategy involved. And then he decides on his new armor. A Superman armor. Like, I believe this is an Apocalyptian armor. And then he chooses his new armor. And then he says, this form feels as if it were the real thing. Did the heart create it or pull it from the past?
Wow, that's crazy.
Ya nunca más gastes los... luz al bañarte con agua caliente. Solo conecta esto a tu regadera o grifo, y tendrás agua caliente en un instante. Llega hasta 80 grados de temperatura, súper práctico para bañarte o lavar los vegetales en casa, y lo mejor de todo, el precio está súper económico. No gastes ni un centavo en luz, solo conéctalo directamente a tu grifo y sale agua caliente al instante. Regula la temperatura hasta unos 41 grados, así que es súper práctico para lavarte las manos, bañarte o lavar los vegetales. Y su temperatura máxima llega hasta 80 grados, se puede instalar en obras, dormitorios o casas, válido para todo.
¿Quién lo hubiera pensado? Un estudiante universitario mexicano inventó esta genialidad tecnológica, sin electricidad, sin combustible, solo conectalo al grifo de salida, ajusta la temperatura hasta unos 40 grados, y listo, es súper cómodo, tanto para bañarte, como para lavar verduras o los platos, ponle uno en cada lugar, es increíblemente práctico. Cuando costaba más de 4,000 pesos mexicanos, no lo compraste. Cuando bajó a más de 2,000 pesos mexicanos, todavía te pareció caro. Ahora la fábrica lo vende a la mitad de precio. Llévalo por menos de 1,000 pesos mexicanos. Si te lo pierdes hoy, la próxima...
Was agree? Wearing the symbol of your greatest enemy. Methinks something. But Lex interrupts. Shut up, demon. Look around you. The heart is moving us to a new arena. Mine. And as the demon now looks out of the window of this tower, he now says, perhaps I was wrong. The heart did not wish for my victory all along. I believe it is manipulating us to bring defeat. But Lex interrupts him once again. Of course it is, you dope. And then he hits a button and calls forth reinforcements in this fight. And they attack the Etrigan. who finishes his rhyme with, "You cheat." But Etrigan then cuts down these Lex bots. And as Lex watches, he thinks to himself, this demon is an idiot. I let him win the first round. He doesn't understand how much is at stake for me and the real world. As we then pick up at the Fortress of Solitude with that storyline with Superboy Prime and Superwoman Lois Lane and the Superman robots. And we pick up with Superboy Prime as he's uploading the information into the Superman robot. As he says, almost got it. Once we upload Superman's mom's hidden Kryptonian archives, we can get them to time travel and tell him what his true role in the fight against Darkseid is. But Lois informs him that she never really liked these robots, although she knows why Clark made them. Their eyes lack his humanity. But Superboy Prime jokes, I'll for one welcome our robot overlord. But Lois Lane is like, Prime, instead of making jokes, can you tell me why you are here? Superman said you were in the future fighting against Darkseid's Legion. And Prime responds, I was. I did. But I found something out about the Legion that Superman needs to know to give him his hope back. But then he's interrupted. The false Superman lies. He ran. He left the Legion to be erased, escaped, just as they were wiped from existence. He saw what you will all see, that the future is Darkseid. But then Superboy Prime interrupts. Oh, shut the hell up, son boy. I did not run. I flew, okay? And I saw the best way to save the Legion, to save the future. As heartbreaking as it is, the only way to save it is to... But then he's interrupted by the Superman robot. Upload complete. However, the data is massive, and we can only hold it for 2 Earth hours. So now they're like, okay, great, we got a time clock. So they gotta go. And Lois Lane is the first to take off. 2 hours? Then we need to go now. And they start to fly, and Prime reminds her, hey, Lois, are you sure you want to follow us? Your powers could disappear again. But she tells him, then I'll fly as far as they'll take me. The time trapper was at the watchtower, so we need to be there too. And then we pick back up with the tournament and the fight with Lex and the demon. As the demon tells him, ever since the days of Mordred and Merlin, there were whispers in the shadows of an Omega. A Dark Lord to rule all Dark Lords with a vendetta, but not with magic's border, with fear and order. And Lex finally choose this armor for some kind of sentimental value. I know what is built into it. If we're going to play an Apocalypse game, then I must play with Apocalypse toys. And then he programs a mother box. How would you like a mother box to the face? And then he flings it at the demon, who can do nothing but go with fear. And it envelops his entire KO. And now this round belongs to Lex Luthor. And then he thinks to himself, now, since the battle with XL, I have been in exile, questioning who I am. Everything I thought I knew. Was I doing the right thing? I had to consider something I never wanted to, that I could be wrong. That's when it hits me. I know how to win. And as the demon now regains his form, the Heart of Apocalypse comes back and tells the fighters, choose your form for the final time. This next battle will be your last. And we pick right back up in that hellscape where Lex Luthor was remembering at the very beginning of this story. And he thinks to himself, right, wrong, good, bad, soul, no soul. I know who I am. As Etrigan now tells him, you got lucky, Lex. The next round, I won't hold back. No more games. I will choose a form I enjoy as well. Finally, one free of the curse of rhyme. How do you like it, Lex? As he shows him the S on his chest. It stands for suffering. And then Etrigan looks around. Ha! The heart has done me a favor again. Home court advantage. But Lex responds to him, not quite. This is hardly my first time in the underworld. And the demon responds, you reek of fire and brimstone. I love it. You think being cast into hell means you have a chance here against me? And Lex responds to him once again, you misunderstand, demon. In my travels, I learned about myself. But I also learned about these rules that were once carved into my skin. They were no accident. They were spells of preparation for possession. And as he begins the chant, Yarva, Demonicus, Etrigan, change the form of man. And the demon's like, no. And Lex continues, free the prince forever damned. Free the bite from fleshly mire. Boil the blood and heart of fire. And the demon writhes in pain. Gone the form of man. Rise the demon Etrigan. As Lex Luthor has stolen possession of the demon. He has taken possession of Etrigan and left the human of Jason Blood, who now looks up to Lex.
Damn, Lex is gonna win.
What have you done? Am I finally free of this curse? And then Lex just takes those claws and slashes Jason Blood.
KO.
You were a fool to complain about the demon, Blood. This is a gift. But then he's attacked in his mind. He yells. And now the demon talks to him from within. Hope you got a gift receipt. You think Jason was ever in the driver's seat. And as the two fight in Lex's mind, the demon tells him, wow, Lex, you are really tortured in your mind. There is a darkness in you, I find. And Lex responds to him as he fights back. You're right, demon. There is. One that is more powerful than you could ever comprehend. I refuse to let anyone control me. Ever. And then he destroys the demon K.O.
God
Lex Luthor wins this
damn.
round and this battle. And then he thinks to himself, I don't care whether I have a soul or not. I am pawn in no one's games. I control the game. I win
the game.
I will be a god.
Lex.
But then he's again attacked in his mind. Luthor! And it's revealed to be Gorilla Grodd. And that scene that we saw the beginning of in The Flash number 28. Make sure you check that in the playlist if you haven't seen it already. And this happens toward the end of that issue, right as Grodd is fighting Dark Gold.
¿Qué? ¿Qué está
This
pasando?
course is about machine learning, modeling, and simulation in the world of engineering and science. Data-driven methods and machine learning are transforming the way that engineers approach modeling and simulation.
Our collaborators are across many different domains, including computer graphics, medical imaging, and scientific computing.
Today I'm here to talk about quantifying risk of extreme events in complex systems.
We use the laws of quantum mechanics and solve them in physics-based models to understand the world around us.
Neural networks have recently proved helpful in addressing the question of seismic imaging.
And we're also going to be talking a little bit about hype versus reality. What are the kinds of things we can already do today, and what are the kinds of things we can...
Laser equipment testing.
Okay, then we human randomly from these lasers. This is our new bench of Zamia F10.
Gold, and Dark Gold shows him the future. And Grodd tells Luthor, Luthor, listen to me. And Luthor's like, Grodd, stop screaming. And Grodd tells him, we have been betrayed. And Luthor's like, what are you talking about? Speak quickly. The heart is shifting me to the next round, and I might not be able to hear you. So Grodd responds, he tricked the heroes. We were reemerged. Darkseid as he runs and attacks Darkseid, who catches Time Trapper. No, Time Trapper, your story is over, and no one is coming to save you. And as we then pick up with Superboy Prime, and the man, y'all, this Superman series has been dope with these DCKO tie-ins. I've been loving each one of them, but I want to know how you guys feel about it. What are your thoughts on this issue and this whole DCKO tournament so far? Are you agreeing with the victors, or do you think some of these people that lost probably should have won? I want to hear all your thoughts and theories. I would love to hear them. You guys always have some of the best thoughts, sometimes things I never think of. So definitely keep them coming. And if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel,
It's a competition of the mind. Ya tiene para el super. Oh shit. No way, bro. That was mean. No brinco. No me dejan terminar, ya se me acabó el tiempo. Ouch. Y era ahora. Listo. Tres minutos. Y quedan 2 minutos. Guacamole. Y no.
Fear freezes you.
Let nature run its course. I found a sensitive spot.
I will shatter.
Luego dame los fragmentos, pero. Y no, qué mal, güey. Me quitaron mis puntos doble. Bueno. ¿Qué te digo? 2 de evolución. ¿Qué sigue entonces? Sigue el desafío de poder. ¿Ya me atacaron? No, viejo. ¿Cómo van? ¿Ya han peleado? Siguen igual. Yo sigo en el mismo puesto. Cuatro, 2, 1. Casi nadie ha jugado. Todavía no es buen momento. Flash clásico, ¿no? El que literalmente hace rato estábamos viendo contra Green Lantern. That's great. That was cheap. Sí, hasta me atrevería a gastar otra, ¿no? Pues si ya sale, no pierdo mucho. No, la cagué. Era la otra caja. Sí, la cagué. Esa no. Ya. Es que con qué pueden tumbar ese, güey. Capitán Colt. Yo digo que las dos iguales.